All right. Well, I'm a guest on your podcast, so you guys fire away here. I don't know what to do.
Isn't that okay? Now I made a pause. Okay, and I was looking right now to Dave. When you have learned the experience all these years to be a host on a podcast, right? You are as a guest on a podcast, and you see that Dave is like, no, okay, guys. Whenever you want to start, if you want, it's okay. We can start. You can stop messing and talking about the hair in the noses, or why Tausif is looking too yellowish right now, even that he's using the expensive S-Cinetone. But anyways. Here's the CreativeLess podcast. It's a podcast that it's not your usual podcast, and we usually have guests from the YouTube creators community. We never reveal our names. You will only see them on the videos because, as you've noticed, now it's the 10th episode, and we've never seen that. We have Chris, we have Tausif, we have Emilio. You never saw that on this podcast, right, guys? We never said that. That's something also unique with us. For example,
you never say your names?
Yeah. That's why everyone is calling me Tausif. I don't know why. But
seriously? Who's calling everybody calls you Tausif?
No, man. I just want to make a funny joke, So,
okay.
But anyway,
people call me that too for some reason. I don't know.
You see, Dave? There are two of us, and on this episode this week, we have an amazing creator. We have a podcaster. We have a person who created a very big YouTube channel, then he threw it away and he said, I don't need it anymore. I'm going to go with Indie Mogul. Then he stayed with Indie Mogul. He exploded the content on the gear reviews. And then again, he said, I need to go back to where my home is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a surprise because we had arranged that for weeks. Here is Dave Mays.
The one and only.
Wait, there he is.
You've officially been demazed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
A lot of people, Dave, they were saying that, I don't know if there was a lot, but we were saying that people are going to think that when Dave in Polar Pro podcast brings a guest, next week they're on the CreativeLess podcast. So instead of stealing you, the guests, we brought you here.
Yeah, I think we're here to settle it. We're here to settle the dispute.
Exactly.
We're all part of the same community, and there's no. I think it's also gone the other way around too, where you've interviewed somebody, then I had somebody else on. So it is funny though. I think for about 3 weeks it was like
it's
kind of had the
that's what I
same
was
guests.
These guys, yeah.
It was kind of like we should have a communication with each other. It's like, hey, I got this guy this week. Let's like be off.
Mine.
Like we could save it for a week or two and then, kind of stagger it. But it's also kind of like all the late night talk show hosts will have the same actors on who are promoting a movie or something. Yeah. So you can kind of think about it that way. But
because it seems like a book too, right? Like Jesse, I'm on a book tour.
Yeah, exactly.
So, because like when I had Josh Yo lined up, I was like, man, like if we call Josh Yo for this episode, we've literally copied Golden Hour like back to back for like 3 episodes. I'm like, man, I don't know. But then Josh Yo had his Kickstarter and everything. It worked out. It was just a perfect time for him.
Well, and it doesn't matter. We're all friends, and like it's just you guys had a different. A completely different conversation than I had, and vice versa. So, I think I'm kind of like I had an interview with Sarah Dici, and she was talking about kind of the current state of podcasting and how everybody has one, and like what's the future of it. And so that's been getting me thinking about it because I've been doing the Golden Hour show now for about 2.5 years, and I kind of I love what you guys are doing, having multiple guests or hosts on the show. I love that. It's kind of a challenge just being a solo host all the time. You guys get to bounce comedy off of each other, which is fun. So I'm actually considering kind of shifting Golden Hour over the next couple of months. My friend Zach Mayfield, who lives here in Nashville, he is the host of Kinotika now. He and I may start kind of co-hosting the show, and we might bring in some other variables. So stay tuned. We'll see how it goes. But
That would be
more
good.
of a variety
That would be
show
very
rather
good,
than
yeah.
just.
Yeah.
I was watching your guys live the other day when you were doing. It was for a giveaway, I think, for a drawing.
Yeah, yeah.
Dave. Yeah. And
Yeah,
no,
he
you
was
guys,
doing a giveaway. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys have all three of you had great. That was Connor on there as well, right? Yeah.
Connor McCaskill. Yeah.
The three of you had great on-screen chemistry, so I could see that working very well.
Well, thank
I'd
you.
like to
Yeah,
see
you
that,
guys, you three have great on-screen chemistry. I'm throwing it off right now by being here.
It's all good.
I wanna say first of all that Chris, that he was your guest the previous
this week.
He was more relaxed. Relaxed than any of our episodes. You saw that he was sitting like that, right?
Yeah, his arm
and
was
now
on
he's
the.
like,
hand up like this.
Chris,
was-
it's also thank you. Be more
Yeah.
relaxed.
I'll do both arms. There you go.
Both are
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up?
Once you one leg up.
I think it's the same as how I feel right now. There's no pressure on me at all. Like,
That's
you
it.
guys set it all up, and it's kind of on you to make this show good, not me. So
Yeah.
maybe that was it. Chris
don't
was just
have
kind of like,
down. Oh.
Basically, we
Too
don't
much
have a pressure as well. Should we
Yeah.
should we care about that? That we don't have a pressure as well.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, imagine.
like-
Yeah, go Tausif.
Yeah, no, Dave's quality of interviewing is like 10 times ours. We're just
That's
I
why
don't
we
think
don't
so.
do that. That's why we don't do that. That's simply as that. Like, you wanna hear the serious conversations? Go to Polar Pro podcast. You just wanna, see Gerald and Dan. How do you say the shorts? Check the CreativeLess podcast.
yeah, there you go.
Because
There
it's
you go.
CreativeLess.
CreativeLess.
I actually never. It's funny. I listened to Smartless as well, and that's a great show. Very popular.
We stole them. That's
show.
the
Yeah.
idea that
But-
we stole.
But I didn't
That's the
pick up on
inspiration.
that. I really didn't until Chris mentioned it. He was
Well,
like,
that's
"Yeah,
good.
we just kind of stole the Smartless concept." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I thought it was just a great play on words with CreativeLess." But now that you bring that up, it's like a
I
carbon
should never
copy.
have said
It
anything.
is.
Damn it.
Yeah,
You know,
should
Dave, after a year, let's say after a year, when this whole pandemic lockdowns are over, and we will finally have the chance to travel again, okay? That's why I'm saying a year, that it's going to be safe. We
Sure.
will meet up together. We will record
Yes.
an episode, a
course.
combination of episode. Then I will reveal you how this podcast was created in under 2 hours. We're not gonna say anything now. You're gonna wait for 1 year, and after a year, we're gonna tell you exactly that. You say, how did you pick up the name? For example, it was you will see. But let's go now to Dave. Dave,
I'll be anticipating that moment.
Kinotika, Indie Mogul, and now self-titled YouTube channel, Polar Pro, right? Self-titled YouTube channel, Polar Pro Golden Hour podcast. And what's your life? What's your life with the moving to
Plus
back
kids,
to the
family,
home?
Yeah.
move. Like, how are you doing this?
That's the main thing. Yeah, I think I kind of had this conversation with another podcast actually yesterday, the Filmmaker Bros podcast. And I was just talking about how I'm in a different stage of life. I thought that personally, I thought achieving my a YouTube channel with good success was the goal, and then I worked with Indie Mogul, and then I was very focused on that, just workaholic, was not spending any time with my family. It was a struggle to like make enough money to afford to live in Pasadena as a solo income provider. My wife stays home with the kids, so it was just like nonstop. And I got an offer to move to Nashville to work with a client, which I'm actually doing. Kind of my full-time job now is doing course videos. I shoot courses and edit them all day, and then
Amazing.
I'm doing the podcast. Yeah. It's not like, I don't really like talk about it. It's not super sexy per se, but that's how I got the C70. That's why I have the C70. That's why I've been kind of upgrading some things, because I'm actually back into the game of like actually producing stuff freelance as well as full time with this client out here in Nashville. But the reason I took the job and where I'm at right now is really like my marriage has never been better. We were actually going out on dates about once a week because my parents live here, so they're able to babysit for us.
Yeah.
And then I try my best to stop working at 6 o'clock so I can be with my boys. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So
Congrats.
I think
happiness and health.
Exactly. I think the kind of American dream and what a lot of people think they need to achieve is career. And the more I mature, the more I'm realizing that having a healthy balance of all those things gives you the most fulfillment and joy in your life. And I have never really felt better. I've been so obsessed with YouTube for the last 3 years. I haven't really taken a break in about 3 years. And I am doing the Golden Hour podcast, but that's pretty minor in terms of, workload compared to the YouTube channels I was hosting previously. However, all that being said, I am like itching to get back into the game, and I feel refreshed and ready to take on a new venture with the entertainment focused channel, a reaction and meme comedy based channel, and then also the kind of morphing of the Golden Hour podcast to be a little bit more substantial rather than just me interviewing a guest, kind of having topics and making it more of a variety show with comedy and entertainment. And I'm working with Zach and Connor to do that. So yeah, a lot of things going on. The goal is to eventually, quit this full-time job I'm doing now so that I can go full-time into YouTube. So over the next year or two, I'm going to be growing these new ventures, and I'm excited to see what happens. It's awesome. Nice to kind of be back to the beginning again at square one a little bit. It's not completely square one because.
And by the way, speaking of that, 7 subscribers for 100. If it's not, that's the beginning, right? The first steps for
Heck
the
yeah.
YouTube channel of CreativeLess. We need 7 people.
Oh, come on, guys! If you haven't,
7? Oh.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
If you're watching, if this is the first time you're watching this video, subscribe right now down below.
We'll just wait. We'll just pause for a
There you
second. We'll just let them go down and click it.
Yeah. We won't
Gotta give
continue
them an
until-
incentive. Do what Colin and Samir did with Mr. Beast. They gave him like $5,000 to a random subscriber or something. You should do that.
We should make an NFT.
Yeah, make an NFT.
Yeah.
Make a CreativeLess
Oh, here we
NFT.
go.
100%.
So, Dave, are we going to see you soon doing again reviews, gear reviews and stuff like that? Or this is something that it's over, it's a past?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want to kind of morph Golden Hour into that. So imagine a variety show similar to H3 podcasts, which I'm a big fan of, and having skits and things built in. It's not just a pure podcast, but Zach and I could buy or receive new products, essentially do a first look or a review, maybe even shoot a review and put that inside of the podcast. I'm kind of I hate doing stuff by myself, and I love one of my favorite things about working with Indie Mogul was the teamwork aspect. I had 3 guys that I worked with every single day, 2 editors and shooters, and with Zach and Connor, I get that collaboration feel back, just like you guys. I mean, you're doing this podcast together. It's way more fun when you have other people to do it with. So hopefully that can kind of scratch that itch for me. But I feel like the hustle of growing a gear review channel it's a lot of work. The amount of like the production level and the quality of it has to be at a certain standard because people kind of expect it to look good and sound good because that's just the niche that we're in. Whereas in a traditional... Yeah, in an entertainment niche. Oh, niche or niche? It can go both ways. I looked it up. You can say it either way. There's not a right or wrong way, apparently.
On that note, Dave, I was actually curious about this because it's like, okay, if you want to differentiate yourself in a niche, right? Like, for example, like tech space or like gear, like cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I generally see like there's like a couple of avenues people take. Usually it's like, okay, we go like you said, like something cinematic, nice B-roll and something that's like production values high. Or you go another way where it's like it's fun or like something different where you bring your personality or character into it. Now, I know
that was what I tried to do. Yeah.
So why
For sure.
do you think that was like, was that successful? If so, or if not, why and why not?
I think that's a great question because I do think that it was successful. I mean, definitely saw success in it, and I think if I continued doing it, it could grow and could have been, with Indie Mogul, I was really excited about that. And for me, when I accepted the job, I had no intention of leaving after only 5 months. I thought that would be at least a 5-year, kind of thing for me, at least.
A long term. Right?
But it was really more of obviously, like I said at the beginning, I had to make the call for my family's sake. Our marriage was suffering. I was working too much. I wasn't present in my kids' lives. And at the end of the day, those were the things that mattered more to me than my own selfish career desires,
That's very high of you of noticing that, first of all, because I don't know if you remember when we talked also together that I mentioned you that. A lot of people always see that it's work. This Gary Vee, man, I don't know how he came in our lives, but everybody workaholic, works 14, 16 hours per day, and they forget to leave because
100%.
This is the life. And
exactly.
Honestly, and I'll be honest, I'm there right now. Like I struggle to turn it off. Like it is so tough for me to turn it off. When I go home, it's like, oh, I got to do something with my channel. What's next? What's this? And then anything I see, like a tweet or a post or anything, it triggers me. And then I start writing down more business ideas, more things. And then my wife's like, I thought you're home now. And then it's like, I know exactly what you mean.
Tausif, I can tell you something very easy.
We're all married, right? All
Yeah.
Of us are married.
I don't have kids. You have kids.
Yeah.
I'm free. I'm a free guy.
But
He still has his life.
But the way I look at it is all 4 of us have made a commitment to our spouses to be in their lives and to have a relationship with them. I think 100%. Men in particular, this is definitely a stereotype, but men almost see marriage as the end goal. It's like you pursue the woman, you buy her flowers, you take her on dates, you get engaged, you woo her, and then you get married, and
you forget
and it's
everything.
like cool.
You
it's
get
like
fat.
all right,
You get fat. You forget everything. You work so you bring
enjoy
money.
life.
And then your wife has the herrero, the pool guy, and says, "See ya, thank you."
Exactly. and I feel like, again, this is a stereotype, but I do feel, at least in my case, for a woman, marriage is kind of the beginning. It's like this. All right, cool. Now we've arrived at the point where we build our relationship. And so I think it's important as men to remember that, we chose to marry this woman and to have a relationship. And there's so much benefit to having a feminine perspective on life and to turn off and to have empathy and to, like, my wife teaches me empathy, teaches me kindness, and the more that I pursue her, the more fulfillment I get in work as well, because I'm just a more complete man altogether. So,
a friend told me one day, he told me, do you remember why Elena got in love with you and she wanted to make a relationship with you, right? Don't you ever forget how you were when he got first in love with you. This is something that we forget along the way. We forget
100%.
that also the person that we fell in love with, right? We might say, okay, stay in the house, you don't have to work anymore, I can do the... But this how we met her, Like, if we try to change things, eventually we might go into a loophole that we're going to say, I created a monster.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, you're right.
And they say, I think the 5 to 6 year window of, like, when you're married, I think that's stereotypically where divorce happens.
357. 357.
So if you can kind of get through that, and also the early ages of when you have children when they're young, that also is a rough time. I can, Chris and I can vouch for that for sure. So, anyways, I don't remember. So back to the original question about comedy and entertainment.
Yeah.
You look at Potato Jet, look at Kai W, even Jared Polin in a way. These are all very successful people who are very funny and entertaining. So there's been a track record of people who can pull it off. The question for me wasn't necessarily like, should I keep doing this and will it work? Because I was able to look at those guys and be like, it obviously works. It was more of like, is this it? Like, is this actually what I want to do in general, And one of the things that I think a lot of people don't know about me, and if they do, then they maybe just don't think about it, is my career, like history, started as a magician. I was a magician for about 8 years professionally before I even touched, doing video stuff. And so ironically, I talk about this all the time, but I did magic full time. I was working at like 3-4 different restaurants a week doing magic. That's actually how I met my wife. We met at a restaurant. She was a hostess and I was doing magic. So we met through magic, which is always fun to say.
Can I reveal a rose?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, write your number on that card there.
Nice.
But when I was 21, I went to a conference called Magic Live, which is like it's like the NAB of magic conferences, and it's also in Vegas. And I went to that, and there was a guy walking around with a 7D and a 14 millimeter lens, really tall guy. I went up to him. I was like, "Oh, you got a 7D? That's cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Peter. Nice to meet you." And so I met Peter McKinnon at Magic Live about 11 years ago or whatever, 10 years ago, which is a funny story. But anyways, so really my roots are in just being an entertainer and and I love entertaining. Making people laugh is really my number one priority. And when I started YouTube 3 years ago, I felt like there was a bit of a lack of comedy in the review space. Now there's definitely more of them, but Kai W was kind of the only person that I knew of at the time, about 3 or 4 years ago, that was
and
funny.
Philip Bloom is humorous.
Philip Bloom is funny. They both have that British sense of humor.
I was gonna say that's what it is. It's the way they do comedy isn't even comedy.
Yeah.
It's just so like, it's just how they are, right?
You know how it is, Chris.
Yep.
You're from the UK.
But once he left, he lost that touch.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to bring it back slowly, little bits.
Thankfully for the podcast, because Dave, he messed with these Canadian guys, and he lost everything. Now again, we see the accent is coming back from the dead.
I like it. We have to save a Formula One talk here for this podcast, because now I'm like super into it.
Yeah.
Are you guys into? I know Chris is, but are you guys into F1?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
I want to.
Emilio should be. He's in Europe.
Well, anyways, just to kind of finish that thought, basically, I feel like I would always regret not trying to just go all in for a period of my life and just try to start over essentially and just build an entertainment-based channel. If anybody who's interested in me from previous, gear review videos, if they want to follow this channel, then feel free, but that's not my audience. I'm going after, younger people and people who like, I just want to be able to share a video with my parents and my brother, and they just laugh.
To it.
Everybody can relate to it. The more research I'm doing, the more people I talk to. I've talked to Roberto Blake about this. Like, entertainment channels actually make way less money than gear review and tech reviews. So like a channel with 500,000 subs in a gear or tech review space makes essentially what like a 2 million sub entertainment channel makes, because when we link a product as an affiliate link, it's a $3,000 camera or whatever. And a lot of these companies want to sponsor gear and tech reviewers because they're promoting products, and more advertisers want to work with content creators like that. So it's not necessarily about the money. It's just more of like, to my core, I feel like every video I was making with Indie Mogul and Kinetica, at the end of the day, I wanted it to be entertaining first and then provide the value second. And I tried to blend that, and I feel like it worked sometimes and sometimes it didn't. And it was a little frustrating sometimes when I would spend a lot of time on making it as fun and entertaining as possible, and people would just be pissed that, there was a little bit of wind noise on my microphone at a certain point,
You had these kind of comments?
On Indie Mogul, I mean, you got to remember with Indie Mogul, I came in as an outsider, so I feel like it took me, I probably needed at least a year to kind of win people over anyways, and I never really got to that point. So people were half the time saying, hey, where's Ted? Who's this joker, on Indie Mogul? So, and Ted told me when he hired me, he's like, you're going to get all the haters. Like, people did that to him for years and they still do. Like, hey, where's Griffin? What happened to Griffin? You know, Indie Mogul is such a legacy channel that you have a lot of kind of hardcore fans of it who, you know, any type of change, they're not going to be very responsive
Dave,
to it.
I don't know basically if these guys are trolls. What we say, the trolls of internet, right? Because it's not that we are creators, but I've never understood people that they're gonna view a YouTube video, right? And they're gonna go into the comments to just say bullshit motherfucking things into the creator. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, it's something.
So this is an explicit podcast. Mine is clean.
Yeah.
So
no,
I'm not supposed to be, but Emilio's
Tausif,
running
Every week we can sneak a couple of words in there. So.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is that I can understand why you watch something and you have the willing to go into the comment section, you know, and go and attack the person that you watch. This is something that I never understood and I never will. Like,
it makes people feel better, right?
Yeah,
like they're hurting people.
But why?
Maybe they hate their job.
You know,
See, I think there's a difference there, though. Like, Emilio, I think you're more so talking about, like, actual trolls. But to Dave's point, I think the crowd itself that is watching or is invested in, that sort of channel, like Indie Mogul, I think they're more so, like they want, like, professional quality.
It was a much more professional
there wasn't professionally with Dave's content. Have you seen that?
No. I'm not saying it's not professional, but Dave's content is more so like I loved watching, like, the stuff that he put out. Like, I told him this before when we chatted. I was like, this was like I actually started watching that channel because of Dave's content, like the game show and stuff like that he did. It was just so fun to watch, right?
Thanks, man.
But like those sort of things may not jive well with, like, certain people who are there, like, oh, why is he playing a game show? I just want to know about a camera, or like,
but Tausif, you know what's funny, that there is this phrase and this opinion that filmmakers and cinematographers are the filmmakers and cinematographers, and YouTubers are trash. Right? There is this opinion. And come on, man, you're a YouTuber, you don't know how to film, you can't call yourself a cinematographer or a filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you join this channel then to see videos? If you believe that you won't see something and you want to see only the reviews on the BBC or the CNN or I don't know anything, why? Why did you visit that? Why did you click that? Right? For example, that's something that I couldn't understand. For Dave in Indie Mogul, even the work that he did, comparison of 3 cameras or 4 cameras, nobody would have the patience to do that. Even from other guys. And don't get me wrong, it's a great channel, right? Indie Mogul.
Well,
but
yeah, well, I that's part of the problem too, is I don't have the patience either. So that's, I feel like that's partly why I would like to experiment with something new, because thankfully at Indie Mogul I had editors, and when they hired me, I basically said, look, I hate editing this stuff. Like, I don't want to be meticulously comparing stuff, but I understand that's like what we need to do to like get views and stuff. And so basically I was the idea guy. I was the performer, the overall direction person. And I was editing with the editors as well. But thankfully we were able to I was able to offload some of that meticulous editing. And that was one of the things too, that obviously was our unique advantage. We were right smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. We had access to all these rental houses that would let us borrow basically anything because they all knew Ted from Aperture. And then, I had these editors to basically do more editing than what I feel like I could do by myself. So it was a sweet setup, and the more I talk about it, the more I miss it. But
I was gonna say, that sounds so refreshing. Just to be like for me, the funnest part, the easiest part is just going to film, like creating the idea of going filming. The hardest part for me, and like okay, here we go, is to sit down on the edit. I'm spending the next whole week
100%.
So yeah,
but
the opposite for me.
That's true. Well, that's good. That we need editors. Without editors,
I don't have time for my videos.
So, but that did teach me a lot about editors in general and offloading work and stuff. And so, I'm starting another channel actually too that I haven't talked about that potentially may happen. The reason I haven't talked about it because It hasn't. It's nothing
No?
crazy. It's a devotional channel and like a Christian-based channel. And
Wait, you started that already, no?
yeah, so I started that, and the publisher of the book that I was reading had a copyright issue with me, so I stopped. But it turns out I reached out to their PR people, and now they're going to actually sponsor the channel and pay for videos. And so my brother,
that, ladies and gentlemen, is a way how to get sponsors by David.
exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, just do something without asking, and then get in trouble, and then become friends with them.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah, so I have that whole thing will be completely streamlined. So I could just shoot like 4 videos in a day, and then I offload that to my brother, who's actually going to be doing all the editing. With the Golden Hour podcast, Connor edits all of that. And if we end up doing this thing with Zach and Connor, then I'm actually going to pay Connor to write all of the bullet points. So all I have to do is just sit down, read the bullet points, and then Zach and me can just play off each other. So yeah, if I make less money, but like if I'm able to streamline it, then I can just build these kind of channels without having all the editing time. And then I also obviously have my full-time job where I edit and shoot courses all day. So while I'm editing courses, my brother's editing the devotional stuff. Connor's editing Golden Hour podcast and producing that. And then if I could find somebody else to do the entertainment stuff too, then I could literally shoot every night from like 8 to 10 o'clock at night when the kids go to bed, offload that to some other editor to edit that, and then boom, I got 4 channels while having a full-time job.
But don't you
Dave,
ever
I thought you were trying to
forget?
disconnect.
Don't you ever forget that you have a life, huh?
Well,
Yeah, I was just saying that.
it's easier than you think, because like imagine Emilio, I think you edit these podcasts, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah, he does.
There was
all of
a
it.
tone in there. Emilio.
That was a knife in my heart. Right
Yeah.
now. Let's. Yeah.
So I mean, so yeah, just imagine if after this conversation was over, your work for this was done, and that's 2/3 of this podcast have that feeling.
That would be great.
Yeah.
You know what? That would
Dave's
be great.
trying to break us apart right now.
But no. I believe
that was his goal.
Yeah, that's the goal eventually. But because both the three of us didn't have any experience. Like I had some of, but not the experience that you had in a podcast. We are in the middle of the way that we're trying to find also services like Riverside or Zencaster. We try them out. How we can make it easier, because
Zoom, it's so annoying, right? Zencaster sucks. Me and Chris used it, and
Dave,
it
listen
wasn't
to
good.
me, please. Listen to me. Just imagine
go.
you have everything ready, right? And you have Tausif. That first he has Canon, and every 30 minutes his video is cutting out. Okay, but he doesn't.
It's on the
He
R5.
doesn't send separate files. He sent one file. Oh yeah, I connected them together, and I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna find where's the cut? Like he had, like imagine things that we had to
it's okay.
work it out.
You had to work
So
it
many
out.
things, yeah.
Exactly. And
It's
also
okay.
the editing of the audio. So when this is going to have something that it's going to be more flawless, I believe this is going to be the time. And also, I believe for you too, that you have everything set up, you know what you want to do, and then you can give directions to somebody, say 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, let's go. I want ready in 3 hours. Thank you.
Exactly.
Bye.
I still think Zoom is the best way to chat though. Like Dave, I was listening to the one the other day, the one we did last week, and it definitely sounds like we're like interrupting each other a lot of the time. And then, but
Because you don't know how to do a conversation.
No, it's because there was a delay.
There was a delay for sure. Like right now we have 4 people total on this, and it seems to be fairly seamless. I mean, think about the boom that Zoom got last year. I'm sure they just started
Upgrading.
money. I'm sure money just poured in, and I mean now Zoom has completely, like, I was using Skype for all the podcasts previously because it had the best audio quality and seemed to be the most reliable. But as Zoom continues to get better and better, now it seems that Zoom is kind of the king of these web, conferences, obviously.
Okay, I suggest we do a collab, the 2 podcasts together. Try to bring like 10, 15, how many people we have?
Let's do
limit. Yeah, and do the multi-episode of different creators, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
In
you
a
Emilio,
collaboration.
you're shotgunning to edit that one, right?
No, Connor is going to edit.
Connor. Yeah, we'll have Connor do it.
I will just give him the direction for the sexy voice here, and
Yeah.
then all the
Oh, I
other
love
things.
it.
It's all the other.
Dude, you
things.
have that that voiceover voice down, man. That's great.
You know,
good.
I need for 2021. I don't know if I'm gonna find the hours to do that, but I need to find a way into narration and voiceover thing. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone. I don't know where. I have friends that told me get a manager, go there, like do.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start.
The accent even like adds to it in a way. It's like
Oh,
a really
100%.
sexy accent, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He loves it.
Three.
Yeah,
guys.
it's yeah,
So-
and say Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, there you go.
That-
He's not in movies anymore. I haven't seen an Antonio Banderas movie since Zorro
Nah, yeah.
or whatever.
Zorro, wow. That's
But
old.
you know, the thing is
I'm
that
sure. No, Spy Kids, right? Was he in Spy Kids?
He was.
Spy
Wasn't he
Kids?
the dad?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the dad in Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Anyways, do you guys have more questions? Sorry,
and let me
don't know.
continue, guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do I do with my hands? You know?
Dave, you're obviously a lot more versed in us in interviewing, so I'm interested because you seem to have you've developed an ability for when there's a pause, you just have like a question ready to go. So are you constantly thinking about things, or is it just so seamless to you now that you don't even think about it?
That's a good question. I do have actually a stock of about 10 or so fallback questions that I will have in my notes, and they're the same questions every time. I could send you the list, honestly. Oh no, I don't want your podcast to be
Yeah,
so
yeah, we
so
got your
exact.
guess. We got the questions.
No, I
See ya.
The Blue Hour, a new podcast from Collar Crow.
my gosh.
We'll get Freewell to sponsor or something like that.
Yeah, Freewell. Exactly. Yeah, the knockoff version
Yeah.
of Polar Pro, the Chinese version of
Yeah.
Polar Pro.
The Hour of
no,
the Sunset.
yeah, Blue Hour. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think it might just be honestly a lot to do with just my personality too. I grew up in a family where we're very loud, and people have told me like, you're not Italian, but you guys act like you're Italian or something. Like, it's just my whole family altogether is loud, laughing constantly, just talking over each other. Like, that's
Eating
been
pizza, pasta with tomato sauce. Doing this all the time.
I actually am a quarter Syrian, so I do come from a more Middle Eastern background with my parents, actually my grandparents. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But there is some sort of cultural, like, we just all talk on top of each other and just are loud and crazy. So I remember when I realized this about myself when I had this girlfriend one time who like, she was just so quiet, and we'd be sitting in a car together, and I would like make a funny comment or something, and then she'd be like, haha, yeah, and then just nothing. And I was just like, well, don't you want to add on to that?
Dead
Or,
inside.
like, I think the moment when I knew the relationship was over, I was like, I was building a fire in our backyard. We were like making a fire pit, and I was grabbing these twigs from a tree nearby, and one of the twigs just smacked me in the face, and it was really funny. And she just like kind of was like, ha. And I was like, that was a great moment to like make fun of me, to like go on and on about it, to laugh. And when I met my wife and we went on our first date, it was just the conversation, the chemistry just flowed so perfectly. And so, yeah, by having a girlfriend that was not like me and that didn't have that conversational back and forth, I was able to learn, like, when I actually met my spouse, like, what true chemistry was. But anyways, all that being said, like,
Dave
for me,
took her back to the same tree and
You did the
same
same thing again.
I
Let me
smacked
slap
face.
my face again. Let's see the
She's like,
reaction.
what are you doing, you stupid idiot? You know.
It's a test. It's a test for you. You don't know that. Just wait a minute.
But yeah, in my household, like, if there's silence, something's wrong. Like, you're either mad at your brother or mad at each other.
Same here. Same here.
But when we're in the
here.
car together, or when we're having dinner together, there's no silence. We're just talking on top of each other and coming up with conversation. So I guess it works well for being a host, because like, as soon as silence happens, I get nervous and I
Get
just have
awkward.
to say
Yeah.
something, you know. So
Dave, you remind me of me right now because I was the fourth child in a 6-member family, right? I was the younger, and I am the younger, not only was, I am the younger. And that's exactly that I want to speak, I want to talk, I want to make my own jokes to make the other laugh, like, hey, I'm here too. You remember like the movies, the small kiddo. And this is something that you're never gonna forget in your life. Like I remember Elena, when we go and meet with our friends or new other people, she tells me that you're always the guy who is gonna make us laugh, but the only thing that it's very hard for me is doing that in not your native language. This is something that it's very difficult because there are jokes, and also I believe for Chris as well, that he has some things that they're British jokes that he wants to throw out, but the other people might say, okay, what did he say now?
Oh, bugger.
Oh yeah.
Bugger. Oh, bugger.
We're like, what are you saying, Chris?
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of... I find it's because I'm not in the habit of doing them. As soon as I go back to England, like those kinds of things just naturally come back out. Or if I'm hanging around or talking to English people. But yeah, in general, I find for me at least, my personality adapted to be more kind of like the people here, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You're a chameleon.
Yeah. And not because like I wanted to. That's just happened. It's just the way it was.
Sure.
Yeah. I think I've seen you the happiest last week's episode when we spoke with James. You were like in your element.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I have that on my watch later. I definitely want to check that out.
You will see
he's
a
a
UK
creator.
Chris. He will see a UK Chris.
Man, that guy's a great creator. I love his stuff.
And a great guy. And a great guy.
He has
amazing guy.
And he's so stylish.
Yeah. So my wife my wife listens to the podcast, which is amazing.
Wow.
Like she doesn't watch any of my YouTube videos, but she listens to the podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah. And she was like, "Wow,
my wife could never listen to my podcast.
Oh, really?
It's too long."
Yeah.
She doesn't like podcasts though.
Right. My wife went on and she looked at James and she's like, "Wow, he's really good, isn't she?" And I don't think I've ever heard her say that about anybody.
Chris goes like, "What?"
Yeah.
Emilio, please cut the episode. We lost connection with her. It's not going to be uploaded.
Is your wife from the UK as well?
She's Canadian.
Okay, so she's attracted to British guys then.
Clearly. I better watch out.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Tausif, you didn't tell us about you.
What about me?
How are you when you're trying to do jokes and are you in your field? Do you have anything that you wish you could make change or anything like that? Like we saw that you break boxes with a knife, right? We saw that you have a special power, but
nice.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think I'm very similar to Dave when it comes to that. Like, I have a large family, and even like my family right now, I have 3 kids, and like it's like never a dull moment. Like, there's always something happening. Somebody's always yelling or like crying about something, and like we're just chatting or arguing, and like it's a very lively house. And I find like so I grew up, like I only had one sibling, so I kind of grew up in a household where it was like pretty quiet sometimes because there's just one other sibling. My parents were both working. There were immigrants here to Canada, so they were trying to make it work and stuff like that. So I grew up in a quiet household. So when I grew up, I was like, first thing I thought, after I met my wife and stuff, I was like, I want a big family, like because I had a quiet upbringing. Like, I want a big family. Now I'm kind of seeing like the other side of things where it's like, what did I do?
Yeah. There is not a second chance.
I've spoken to other people who come from like a big family. So like, for example, Emilio comes from a big family, right?
And,
you said you had 4 siblings, right?
Emilio did the right move.
Emilio,
because he was from a big family. He had a lot of siblings. A crazy madness every Sunday. Christmas, Easter. We were like, I was talking to my father now. We had Easter, right? The Orthodox Easter.
Yeah.
And we were just the family from Elena's mother, my father, my parents. And that's it. We were like 5 people. Okay. Nice. And I was telling him, like, when we were kids, that he had also his brothers and my mother's family, and also the 4 of us, and also from my brothers and sisters, their wives and their husbands and kids, and it was like a table of 25 people. How did you manage to pay for all this fucking shit? Like,
Oh yeah, seriously.
the
It doesn't
food-
get the more
Yeah.
kids you have, the
Yeah,
more
man.
expensive it gets for sure.
And also craziness, because you can organize everything, right? Someone is gonna yell, someone is gonna cry, someone doesn't want to stay there, someone wants to sleep, someone. And that's why I told you I'm free. It's a very nice feeling right now to have the
Simple
podcast in your house. You don't hear anything, and after that,
Are all you guys in your 30s or up?
36. I'm gonna be in 1 week. I'm waiting for a good
Nice.
present.
Damn, I didn't know you were 36.
What do you think? I was like 40?
Wait.
Fuck
No,
you.
I thought you were like lower 30s, man.
I would say like
Low
yeah.
What? Lower
I was thinking
30?
32,
I would say low
33,
30s,
yeah.
Ah,
I don't
thank you.
The older I'm getting, the more like it's funny. I feel like when I was young, I started professionally in the video world when I was 17 or 18 years old. So I feel like nobody took me seriously. I didn't get the jobs that I felt like I could have got that was given to like a 30-year-old. And now like I'm reaping the benefits of kind of being older, and like you meet people in the industry, and
You're
then
too old.
you all get older together, and you all kind of grow, and your careers grow together. So like other 30, 40-year-olds hire their friends and their colleagues rather than the teenagers or the younger people. And so like now as I'm getting older, it's like I have kids and a family, and I feel like the more responsibility you have, obviously the more money you need to make, and to pay for all the people and the food. And I feel like that's a deterrent for people sometimes who like, I don't want to have kids because I can't afford it. And it's like, well, yeah, you can't afford it now, but like I believe that if God's blessing you with life, with children, he's going to also provide the finances and things like that to allow you to feed those children. So I do have to. I actually have a golden hour show in about 30 minutes, so we should.
Okay.
I got about 20 minutes
Start
left.
wrapping up.
But I mean, I'll just sit in the same chair and continue.
Or we
So,
can
like,
continue
I
the podcast to see how it is to start a golden hour podcast. Like,
Yeah,
hey
sure.
everybody, this is Dave Mason. This is how it's gonna end the episode.
The BTS.
From his guests, we actually stole his podcast just for 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Totally.
Who's your
Okay.
guest this week, Dave?
Dave, how old
If
are
can
you?
share it.
My guest is I don't know.
Doesn't even.
Oh, no.
So
He does-
busy.
he
It's
doesn't
such a big
say.
deal that he does. Someone put it in
Jake,
his
He
calendar. and
doesn't
just,
say, guys, because
He's like,
the-
oh yeah, I'm dealing with this guy.
the
This week."
minute
I'm not
he's
gonna
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 say,
take him.
I'm not going to tell you. I don't want you to swipe them.
because we
you go.
have time to record in 2 hours from now.
Slide into his DMs.
No, it's it is a guy who I want to start reaching outside of our filmmaker niche. So it's actually a YouTuber who he and his wife have a channel, and they travel. They're like travel vloggers and stuff. So
Nice.
it's interesting. It's a different niche. And so
Cody?
yeah.
I saw you had a guy on who does a farming YouTube channel week
Yeah.
before last,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That was interesting.
Yeah, and you said it was the most
Yeah.
popular one you ever had.
It was.
That's
Well,
interesting.
it got more views than the other videos, but it actually has less retention than most. So like
Okay.
Chris, your video is actually performing well in the retention and the click-through rate.
Mine.
And Emilio, you too. I don't remember.
He's just saying that. He's just saying it. Yeah, it's the
No,
worst
no.
one you've ever done.
No, wait.
I
I want to see the retention rate. I want to see the voice. The voice. What did it do?
Emilio, when you were on, the channel was still new. Like I feel like now, and you'll find this too with your channel, as you continue to just consistently upload, people will, YouTube will start pumping it out more. So let's see, your retention.
It's a snowball effect, really.
Your retention is about 6%, Emilio.
Nah, 6%, huh?
That's not bad. That's average.
for an hour and a half long show.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
And
good.
then let's see, Chris is getting 18%. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have said this.
No, it's
you
okay.
shouldn't have.
Everybody
See,
knows
Dave's doing
Chris.
everything he can to break us apart right now.
No.
He just dropped it.
And then-
Tausif,
but like
that's
the-
reality.
But the farm guy, he has more views than anybody else, but he only has 7%. So
Even higher than me.
Even he's beating you, Emilio.
by one. Let's see what let's go Joshio. Let's see, 22% for Josh.
Damn.
Gerald was good. Let's see. He's 20. Okay. I feel like Hayden Hillier Smith should be the top.
His was fantastic. You had a two-parter.
That was 20.
So
20.
That one I could not stop listening to.
That was my favorite. No offense, Chris and
no
Emilio,
worries,
but that was probably one of my favorite
That
interviews
was probably one of my
because
favorites too.
I had all these pent up questions to ask a person like him. Like, I've never met anybody at his level that does such, Logan Paul's like one of the biggest YouTubers in the world, and he's Logan's editor. I just had so many questions about what it's like to be in that world. I have no concept of it. So I had all these pent up questions. So like, you can kind of see it in my energy when I'm talking to him. I was just so freaking stoked to like be talking to him.
Yeah.
So,
You're like in a candy store.
yeah, exactly.
He gave out so much information. That was the first podcast I've ever written notes from. And I took down some of the things, like no word of a lie. And I've implemented some of that onto my channel. And I swear in the last like 2 or 3 months, it's actually helped. Like just little tiny things he says, like watching every second and the pacing he does of his edits. He's very smart, that guy. Very smart.
Oh, yeah. And don't let your wife watch him because he is British. So
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, should we go for the quick fire round? Tausif, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do the quick fire and then we'll start zoning this down. All right, Emilio, go.
No, you, Tausif, you.
Two cameras, two lenses, Dave. What are you going to have?
Ooh, two cameras, two lenses?
Yep.
Yeah.
One lens in each.
Okay. And it has to be a camera that exists, right? It's not like a fake camera.
Camera you can buy.
Whatever you want.
He's going to say Olympus.
Okay.
The Kodaks, the yellow Kodaks that they were, back in the 90s.
Okay, so shoot. That's a tough question. Okay, I'm shooting on the C70.
Come on.
Okay, yeah. C70 with 16 to 35 and the speed booster, which is what I have right now. I think it's the best compact all-around video camera. And then because I'm able to have two cameras, that means I can also have a dedicated stills camera. So I'm gonna go with the Leica Q2.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Leica guy.
Go big or go home.
If I had the money, I would go Leica, Hasselblad, all that stuff, but I don't have it. So.
I think you're the first person on this channel that's not set a Sony camera so far.
Oh yeah,
right?
I think practically speaking, like if the question was one camera, one lens, then I would do A7S III with a 24 to 70 on it, because then you can do great video and photo. But because you're giving me the ability to have a photo camera separate from my video camera, then I'm going to go with a video camera.
Dave, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Pineapple? 100%.
Yes.
I love pineapple on pizza.
This is funny. This is funny. I was under the impression that people genuinely don't like pineapple on pizza, but that's 4 in a row now we've had that like it.
4 in a row.
Yeah, I ordered it a couple days ago. There's a restaurant in Tennessee called CC's Pizza. You guys probably haven't heard of it, but it's an unlimited buffet pizza. It's the most American place in the world.
Cool.
It's a buffet. It's a pizza buffet. It's $6.99 a person. Unlimited, and you can also order exactly what you want, and they'll make it in the oven and deliver it to your table.
Okay.
So I had a buffalo pizza.
Where is that?
It's in Tennessee. They're in the South. They're pretty popular in the South. Okay. It's kind of crappy. Like it's not high end pizza by any means, but it's not bad. And I ordered a custom pineapple pizza just a couple days ago. So I'm a fan. Ham, and you got to have the ham, the cheese, and a thick crust with some pineapple on it. So.
Yeah. Do you not have Do you not have Pizza Hut buffet in the States?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have Pizza Hut
it's
buffet.
Like the same thing. You just unlimited all you can eat, right?
It's a little bit more customizable because you can actually order what you want. You could literally order like 5 pizzas and they'll bring it to your table, full pizzas for $6.99. It's insane. It used to be $3.99 when I was younger. It went up. Anyways,
I don't want to imagine what you were eating for $3.99.
It's pretty bad. It's not the best quality for sure. Anybody who's listening who knows is gonna kind of cringe when they hear me even say it, probably. But I don't care.
All right, next one. What's your favorite movie?
I used to say The Social Network by David Fincher, and I feel like there's movies like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars that are in their own, like, obviously, like, those movies are great. Indiana Jones, like, there's these like tentpole movies that everybody can kind of universally agree are like the best movies. But I love Silver Linings Playbook. I remember being amazed by the screenwriting on that film and the acting. I loved Social Network because it kind of was the way they shot it, the way that Fincher makes stuff, and Sorkin wrote it, I think. So like just the combination of all the drama of that I love. But I don't know, favorite movie. Gosh, it's hard. I guess I'll just stick with Social Network because it's always been my go-to. I'd like to watch it regularly just because I don't know, for some reason I get inspired by it. So
that's good.
Go, Emilio, hit him with one. We're almost done. Just maybe 2 more.
Okay. Any channels that you watch that they're outside our needs?
Oh yeah, I watch a lot of guitar channels. I'm a guitar player, and it's become a fun little side hobby for me to get my brain outside of filmmaking and editing, and I'll just plug in my guitar and just I'll find like a solo track on YouTube. You could just search like guitar solo
backing
loop
track,
or a backing track. Yeah, just drums and a like a couple of chords.
And you imagine you're in a band.
Yeah, you get to pretend that you're in a band. It's great. So there's a couple of guitar channels that I watch. None come to mind right now, honestly. But as far as like comedy and entertainment, I love Danny Gonzalez. I love he's a commentary channel, comedy-based commentary channel. So I'll say him, Daniel Gonzalez.
Any hobbies that the audience might hear that you know besides magic, because we listen about magic, right? And they would be surprised about.
Yeah, I mean guitar, like I just said, I do play guitar and I love it. Magic, but I don't consider that a hobby because I don't actually sit around and play Magic.
But you do remember, right? You do remember how to do tricks. So an episode like Now You See Me. That
Look at it. See, I see the ring here.
Yeah.
Take it off and then throw it back on really fast. Did you see that?
Oh, that was actually
Come on,
really
man.
cool. What the heck?
Magic
a magic
must
trick.
be a great thing to have with kids.
Dude,
They must just be
how did you do that, man?
mesmerized.
It's magic. You know what's funny about that topic on kids is that I haven't reached the age with my boys where everything in the world to them is magic.
Yeah, like,
so like
peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Yeah.
To my 1-year-old, when I cover my face, he thinks I'm gone, and then
Object permanence.
yeah. So
Wait till
there you go.
he knows what you can really do.
Yeah, I like the technical example there. That was funny. What's it called? Object permanence. Yeah. So even my 3-year-old, he hasn't really reached the stage yet where, I mean, I'll like make a ball vanish or something and then he'll freak out about that. But it's a great icebreaker for events. Like back when, NAB was happening in Cine Gear and stuff, I'd always bring a deck of cards with me to conferences and stuff because it's just a fun way to just be like standing in a circle with each other and just be like, hey, pick a card, watch this. It's a lot of fun. But I say, I guess Magic and guitar. I don't do anything else really. There's no other hobbies. I do like playing with remote control cars and airplanes
RCs,
and stuff. But
the RCs, right?
I feel like that's similar because like I do have drones but I actually enjoy flying them and just kind of playing with them. I have the Sphero ball, the BB-8 Sphero. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
It was like BB-8 and you control it with your phone or whatever. And so my kids love it. And I actually have started to love it too. We have a pretty big downstairs, bigger than we're used to living in an apartment. Now I've got a 5-bedroom house for like $1,000 cheaper, which is insane. So we have this big downstairs and the Sphero ball is a ton of fun. So I don't know if that's a hobby, but I've been playing with it way more than ever. So
Chris, shoot the last one.
Awesome.
Do we have more? I thought that was it. I don't have the app.
We have
the
the place, about the favorite place.
favorite place.
Okay, fine.
I don't have it open.
Favorite
You
place
have to
that
do
you've
it.
traveled to.
favorite place, I hate to pick the United States because I've been to other countries, but honestly, New Orleans in the U.S. is in Louisiana. New Orleans is like one of the most amazing places in the States, and I feel like it's overlooked for people who are traveling to the USA. They don't think about it as like a destination. You know, usually it's New York City or Los Angeles. But I really strongly would recommend anybody to go to New Orleans. It's really like a country, because I mean it was occupied by the French in the early 1700s, and part of the Louisiana Purchase with Abraham Lincoln. We got Louisiana, but there's a lot of history there that dates back before the United States was even a country.
And the history of jazz, of bourbon, of magic, right?
The food, oh my gosh, the food is unbelievable. I love Cajun food so much, and it's so unique there because the water and the things that they have there make it like authentic to New Orleans style. So the people are amazing. There's so much just variety there. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the U.S. for sure, and if not, one of the more unique places in the world, to be honest.
Dave, we honestly want to say a huge thank you, first of all, for dedicating the time to.
Oh, it's my pleasure
to meet with us today.
Thank you.
I can't wait personally to make the meetup in person as well, because I want you to show me how you did that thing, even if it's magic.
The magic trick, yeah, heck yeah. I'll never tell you. A magician never reveals his secret.
Except me. Except to me. No. To nobody except me.
Yeah, exactly. If you give me one of those hats, maybe.
Of course, yeah. Of course, I will give you a CreativeLess hat.
Let's do it.
I have it,
Sounds good.
because it doesn't fit on me. I have a big head, so I have it printed here. I tried it. It gives me headache. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Dave. Stay safe, stay
Thanks
productive, and we can't wait to see what you're gonna create, because your content, when you combine it with humor that you have, it's a top-notch content that we all want to see.
Yeah, and since your stuff is in progress right now, before you start your channel and stuff, where can people find you right now? Twitter, best place?
Yeah, Twitter, of course. I'm a big fan of Twitter, as you guys know. But I am on Instagram as well, just Dave Mays on both. And Golden Hour Podcast, I am consistently uploading.
Only
so if
fans?
you like...
OnlyFans?
That's what he's filming next. That's not another guest.
It's unfortunate that website gets such a bad rap, because, to be honest, it's really just like a Patreon competitor, but it's really become, this, pornographic thing. But it technically is. You could also have an OnlyFans and just make it like a Patreon, but whatever. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, if you listened all the way to the end of this show, then that means you like listening to a bunch of people goofing off. So check out Golden Hour Podcast as well.
There you go.
So yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
This was a ton of fun. I love having all three of us, or all four of us here. It's a lot of fun to have multiple voices and different people chiming in, and having Emilio talk about half of the time. So that's great.
Thank you.
He holds a conversation.
That was a pleasure.
Just like me, Emilio. We can't.
Dave,
I can't deal with the silence.
Exactly. They don't. They didn't understand it, but I honestly telling you that on the first episodes, they were telling me after the episodes, Emilio, thank you. You always have something to say when we have awkward silences. And now they're like, yeah, he talks all the time.
Yeah. And we got Chris finally relaxed, so he's got his arm on the couch.
With one arm. With one arm.
Yeah.
We were hoping for two. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up.
His pits are still sweaty, though. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. I don't see it. Yeah. Probably. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching,
Dave.
guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.